Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Laps Down. It's actually a bonus episode, another lapped traffic. And can I get a yippee?
Yippee!
Yippee!
Dude, that is exactly how I feel about our guest today, because we have the amazing Marlee, and I've had the pleasure of hanging out with her in person a couple times at races, and so has MJ. But before that, we had a little romance with your content. You were just our fave content creator. And so we're excited to have you on. Do you want to plug what your socials are for the audience?
Okay. You told me not
I
to be
said
weird.
not to be weird about it. Get to the point. No, I'm just kidding.
Motorsport Marlee. On it all.
On all. She
All
has
over.
that domain, girlies. You thought you were going to get that username? Sorry.
Don't think so. And that's on having two E's at the name Marlee. It's really
true.
easy.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you maybe a weird question that we can cut out. Is Marlee like your government name?
Marlee is my government name.
I've never met another Marlee before. And it's such a
haven't
cool
either.
name.
Thank you. Yeah, it's I am legally named after Bob Marley. My mom changed the spelling because she thought it would be
that's what it is. The
cooler
spelling is different.
with two
Yeah.
E's. And so
She's right.
True.
And she was right. And so yeah, it's Marlee with two E's. And with my like middle name, this is just like almost a humble brag, I'm not gonna lie. With my first, middle, and then last name, I'm like the only person like on the planet with that three combination of first, middle, and last.
Wait, that is kind of
Whoa.
sick. Oh, I don't know. Do you want to kick us off with our first question, MJ?
Yeah, absolutely. So you talk a lot about how you've always been like a lifelong sports fan, but obviously we focus on motorsport. So I just kind of wanted to know how you got into motorsport and then how that turned into making motorsport content, and like a bonus point if you're willing to share what your first motorsport content
Video.
was.
Yeah.
Okay, absolutely, because it's coming up on my 1-year anniversary. So I'm actually have
Wow.
to say that first. It was Georgina falling from the bridge.
Oh, at Barber?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like,
beautiful.
I actually have to speak on this because I just thought it was so funny.
She's like, I need to bring this to y'all's attention.
I think at the time, like, it was all of like the only people that followed me were people from college, and I was like, I need the world to see, and by the world I mean like the 50 friends I had from college that followed me on TikTok, because it was just so funny. But I got into it because of John Green, and he went on off track in like 2018, I think, and I was really lonely in college, and my friend was Crash Course. I was really addicted to Crash Course and John Green at the time. And so I like listened to it, and I don't know, he just seemed like really, 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 really into it. And I was like, I like sports. I'll give it a whirl. And then I was like, I watched like a little bit, and I honestly didn't get it at first. Like I was like, oh, that's kind of fun, but like I don't love it. And then I kept watching it, and it's like, and I know that y'all kind of went through this too, but it really quickly becomes very addicting. Like it's really quickly like you're like, okay, I don't just like this, I love this. And that's 100% what happened.
I heard you talk about that John Green story on Podium Pop, friend of the pod, what up? And I thought it was interesting because I was a fan of F1, and I was listening to a John Green audiobook, and it was like the chapter he had on the Indy 500 and like Beyond the Anthropine or whatever. And it was funny because it was so romantic about the Indy 500. Like it literally was like, this is the most beautiful thing on planet Earth. But then randomly he also was like, and there's a dude named Will Power, and that's just like a sick name. And I was like, right, because why is his name Will Power? Like, why did his parents name him Will if they knew his last name was going to be Power? But
that keeps me up at night.
It's great. Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Honestly, they should have went with Marlee, 2 E's.
They really wanted to be unique.
Like, yeah, that was like, it was, so he originally was releasing it as like podcast episodes before he made the book. And I remember like listening to that and being like, I've never heard anybody speak about a small Midwest town, because there's a chapter before that's just on Indianapolis. I had never heard of anyone talk about a town with so much love. Like when I talk about where I'm from, it is almost filled with hate. And I'm sure people love Cypress, Texas. I'm just not one of them. And so like when he would talk about it, like I was like, wow, that's so fascinating. And then when he went on Off Track and he was just like, I mean, he was like fangirling over them, like genuinely.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Same.
I've got to get in on this. But it was just like, it was definitely like really, really like, I was like, it's fine. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, this is kind of my favorite thing. And my dad loves F1. He's a huge Charles Leclerc fanboy. And so he really wanted me to get into F1. And I was like, no. I was like the opposite of like the F1 fan that's like, I'm too good for IndyCar. I was like, I'm too good for Formula One. Not really.
So I'm kind of skipping ahead a little bit in our questions, so sorry, MJ, but you live in Indy now. Do you feel that way when you drive through Indy, that like you get the same romanticism, or do you think that John Green was maybe overplaying it a bit?
No, I think he just is happy to be where he is. I think he's just fond of life. I don't think he's like, I can't imagine as my car drives over pothole after pothole and every day I'm like, my suspension has to be broken. Or when I'm in Carmel and it's just a roundabout after roundabout after roundabout, most in the world, I'm like, ooh, I think he might have been lying.
Yeah.
You left that out.
Even with the month of May magic that is hitting town currently, do you feel do you feel like it's like Disneyland for motorsport fans yet?
I will say, yeah, it's pretty cool. Like there's a bunch of stuff already happening. There was like fan fests in Bloomington where Big IU is, and there's a fan fest in I think Lafayette where Purdue is. So they do it for like the universities, and Purdue also has like their own like race thing that they do. I can't think of what it's called, but they have like their own little race, and then there's like a biking race too, and then I'm doing the Indy mini half marathon, and our medal is going to be an IndyCar, and they're putting up the street signs, and there's like a bunch of like driver signings and things you can go to. So like right now it's like it's popping. I'm not going to lie. That aspect is really cool. And even like outside of motorsports, there is so many sports happening in Indy like all of the time. So I do have to give my girl props for that. Like there's always something to do. For sure. Yeah. Especially like downtown, there's always something to do. And it's like, I definitely think I'm really excited for the first time just with like all of the May stuff coming in. Before I was like, this is kind of cool. But now I'm like, oh, for me?
This is just for me. Well, you did transition us nicely about like all of the sports that are happening in Indy. And I saw that you had the opportunity to work the women's Final Four and like the Big Ten tournament and stuff. And I thought it was interesting that women's basketball is talked about in a way that motorsports often is, which is like, this is the new thing in sports. And like, this is the thing that everybody's talking about. This is the new big sport. They also tackle something interesting we talk about a lot, which is like the sexism that like F1 Academy has to like convince men to watch it, even though it's not men playing. Did you notice anything that they're doing to like overcome these obstacles that maybe could apply to motorsports or like the F1 Academy and stuff?
Honestly, yes and no. I will say, like, and obviously I'm really close with like the motorsport community. I think that all of us know each other at least decently well, and I think that we're really like a tight-knit group of people. I had the opportunity to go to the US Basketball Writers Association Awards brunch in Tampa with like a lot of the people that were writing for the Final Four. I have never seen a group of people just like so proud of one another, so like tightly knit, so like uplifting, and like a very diverse crowd. Like the current rising star is like the person under 30. There were 3 of the past and the current one, and all were women and people of color, and just like really, really, really diverse, and like such a good environment to be in, and like introducing themselves to me because I was just some girl. I was on the street with a sign telling people where to go. That was my job of the brunch. And obviously they like did not have to speak to me or anything. And then like the rest of the tournament, like smiling and like waving and speaking to me, and just like they're all really there for one another. And I feel like that kind of community and the way that they speak and like treat the sport is a little bit different than the community in motorsports. I feel like we're a lot more competitive. Like I know like online, like we have a lot of competition, girls stealing others' contents and like, you know, like that kind of thing. And the media as well. Like there's always like a really particular like narrative or storyline, and they're usually pretty repetitive ones. And I feel like that's something that like in at least in the Final Four they really are like trying to get rid of. Like Dawn Staley talked a lot, and I mean she took some heat, but talking about how like, you know, we can talk about Paige Beckers and how amazing Paige Beckers is, but we also need to talk about how good Sanaya Fagan is. Like, you know, like you can't just have like one narrative. And I feel like right now, and like if you want to look at IndyCar, like Alex Palou is the narrative, and that's fine, but it's like, you know, there's other people we need to talk about too. I think that's like their main thing kind of right now.
The competitive social media thing is interesting because I think in F1 and like motorsports content creation in general, it's seen as like there's only so many opportunities. So like we need to be competitive with each other for those opportunities. But I think women's basketball, like I've just seen people being like, I'm going to just create my own opportunity. Like, or like if we all make content, it'll grow the sport and thus make more opportunities for us all. Like, I think you're right of like, it's kind of seen as like a team effort to grow the sport rather than, like competing with each other.
Yeah, it's like even like there were like high school students there, and like the people from the New York Times, like The Athletic, were going up to them and being like, you guys need to keep writing on women's basketball. Like, you know, it's a really different kind of like vibe, and like it was really nice as well. Like, I mean, we're all women here. I think every coach said something though, because there were just like so many women and so many like young girls as well, like younger, like I'm talking like high school and like maybe to 20, like younger girls that were there that were like asking questions in the press conference for their school newspapers and like getting excited, and like, you know, it was really like beautiful to see. And I know like Gino, the UConn coach, went kind of viral for like his comment. That's because he's the most famous, I would say. But they all said something, like every single coach, and even some of the players were like, some of them were like, I've never even seen this many people in like a press conference, because some of them, there was just like so many people. So it's growing really quickly. And I think that's like, it's really good for them. And I hope that something similar happens with motorsports. I think it's hard because they're separate but together, whereas like women's basketball and men's basketball are separate. They're not separate but together. Yeah. And in motorsports they are together. And like F1 Academy races on the same track that F1 is racing, or like Marta, like all the stuff that happened when she crashed, like that's because they're racing with men. And it's like really unfortunate, because I think that at least in motorsports, which is a unisex sport, like it's anyone should be able to do it. It's like, it sucks that they're not given that kind of space, that kind of safe space that I think women's basketball kind of is, just because it is truly separate from the men's category.
The worst of the worst are probably not tuning in to women's basketball to begin with. So there goes half of the hate comments that they could possibly receive, because they're not even watching. Whereas, you're right. Unfortunately, like when women get into a crash in motorsports, they're on the same channel, on the same race, and like they'll never hear the end of it. Well, is it too late for me to sign up for women's basketball? I think I would like to join this community. It sounds great and really lovely.
No, and you so should. Actually, please. It's really the best. It's so much fun. And like the WNBA draft, like I'd never think that I would be sitting watching the draft, like crying my eyes out. And I was literally sitting there just like sobbing. Like I don't like, there's just like, I don't know. They really like touched my heart this year. So I hope to keep working in it, but it was just like, it's really magical. I don't know. I really recommend, like genuinely, actually.
Okay. I'll tune in.
A quick little pivot. We can pivot into women's basketball.
We're crying. We're like literally crying here. MJ, do you mind? No, I'm just kidding.
And this might be kind of hard to answer like off the back of that conversation, but just now that you're kind of getting a background in journalism, are there any things that you see in motorsport now that you might not have paid as much of attention to? Like, I know now that I have like a marketing degree, I'm always like, oh, we could have done that differently. Maybe this would have been more beneficial. I just wondered, like, what do you see now that you are looking through the lens of a journalist at motorsport?
I want to preface that, like, I'm not trying to be mean when I'm saying this, but I started reading a lot.
You can be mean.
Go ahead if you want to.
Look, and I get it because I wrote on basketball not knowing like jack shit about basketball, so like I can't really speak. But I read a lot of like clips from motorsports, especially like IndyCar, like the Long Beach race that I wasn't able to watch due to YouTube TV hating me. I was like, well, I'll just simply read. And you can like tell like when you're on like, let's say like motorsport.com, maybe the person writing like very clearly knows motorsports really well. But I have seen so many cases where it's definitely like, oh, this person is like looking up names on like the stats sheet trying to pull together a story and they don't know anything about like, or even like a broadcast, someone like a news anchor that has to broadcast about IndyCar or like NASCAR, and like they maybe aren't using like the car's full government name or something like that. And like and I'm like,
you gotta use the full government.
You have to use the full
government. It's respectful. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like it's really interesting to see like the different ways that people write on it, just because, you know, like I'm trying to find like what my voice is in writing. And when you see like other people's and you're like, oh, they're definitely coming from a point, like a clinical point, like not like, oh, I like this sport and I know these people. It's just like, this is my job. I have to write. And that's like definitely something that I've noticed, because I'm like, wow, that is crazy. And I hope that when I'm writing about sports outside of motorsport, like that's not how I sound. Like I hope like I sound like I actually care about the story. Yeah. So that's definitely, I don't know if that answered your question, but like that's definitely something that I've noticed.
What do you feel like as like knowing the necessary evil it is in order to like make money in journalism or to like sell a story to people, when you see people like manufacturing storylines? Like I like logged into F1 TV and watched like the weekend warm up, and they literally have like a bumper on the bottom that says like McLaren Civil War, and I was like, is that what's happening? But it's like they are there to sell you a story. Do you like ever feel like this feels like kind of a little bit of a stretch? Or do you feel like that's like part of sports journalism?
In many ways, I kind of feel like it's part of it. It's the same thing. It's like, I like when I'm with my mom, I love watching Drive to Survive because of the way that she reacts to it. And she believes wholeheartedly that anything that they say in Drive to Survive or any drama that she reads, it's 100% real. And I love that for her. And like, I think that it's so funny. And I do kind of think that it is like a necessary evil. It stinks because I hate when it creates like fan wars. Like that's what I don't like. Like I hate seeing like people attacking someone because they believed an article and someone's like, oh, media literacy. And I'm like, well, like, yes, but also like they're reading the thing from an credited journalist that's saying that this is what happened. Like, and there may be like, and then like you click on their Twitter bio and it's like, I'm 15. And I'm like, you're literally belittling a child for reading an article and taking it for like word
at
for
face
word.
value. Yeah.
Right.
And so I feel like that really sucks because it's like I don't know. I don't know if it's just because my sister's about to have a baby or what, but I'm like, the children. Like, I don't know.
Think of the children.
It's just like heavy on my mind, or anytime I see like them fighting, I'm like, guys, don't fight. Like,
well, and like people hate on journalists for this like manufacturing of storylines, but they're doing it sometimes for the betterment as a fan. I mean, for example, like you see these journalists like asking crazy questions in the press conferences, being like, hey, what's up, Max? Do you think you're going to leave Red Bull? Or like, Fernando, would you be happy to have Max as your teammate next year? They're saying these like outlandish questions, but every once in a while they get that perfect like nugget. Like you can actually see on the athlete's face, like, oh, if they hadn't asked that question, we would have never realized, like, maybe Max will leave Red Bull just because he's, like, getting snarky with the journalists. Like, maybe he feels weird about lying and he's actually exploring other options. So it's like they get hate for it, but it's like every once in a while, the payoff is 100% worth it.
Absolutely. And also, like, kind of, it's just fun.
Yeah.
So fun. It's like that's what draws people in, unfortunately. Yeah. That's the kind of marketing that's gonna get the attention on social media. So it is kind of, I think, Andrea, you said it's like a necessary evil. Like, it's exactly that. Unfortunately, fortunately, depending on who you ask.
Would you do that, Marlee, in a press conference? Like, could we rely on you to, like, ask Ferrari, like, ask Lewis, like, are you going to Ferrari? And getting that perfect soundbite of him, like, lying about it to the press so that we could use it later against him when he does go to Ferrari. Like, would you be that person on the front line for us?
No. And the only reason for that is I am terrible in press conferences. I literally, this is me. I'm using this pen as my microphone. They hand it to me and then they'll point, you know, like, it's your turn. And I literally am like, hi, I'm Marlee and I'm from Sports Capital Journalism. And if I could just ask you a question, I don't know what happens to me when I go into a press conference and, like, my hands are shaking. It's so bad. But I would like, you know, when they have them in, like, the bullpen, like the media bullpen, I do random, like, I am better at that. Like, for some reason, so in there, absolutely. Oh, yeah, I'll ask.
Well, that's my favorite interviews, so, like, I'm cool with that.
Oh, then perfect. Oh, I got you.
Great. Good to know.
Yeah. You got to kind of ask, like, I like asking questions like that, or asking, like, personal questions, just because it's fun to see people's reaction when you do that. Mm-hmm. Like, it is, and then you get to put it in your story and you're like, they laughed, they thought that was funny.
Hey guys, for the audience, they thought my joke was funny. What do you guys think about that?
It's like, it's kind of fun. So, like, I do get why they would ask, you know, those kind of outlandish questions. You're just trying to get a good quote at the end of the day. Oh yeah, I gotta respect that.
So
she's crazy.
I think my first interaction with your content was the Indyisms that you did. I think it was specifically you had a pink microphone and you were telling me that Penske cheated, and it changed my life forever. I've actually never been that same girl I was before I heard that Penske. Didn't know who Penske was, wasn't sure what an Indyism was, but I heard that there was a scandal. And I was immediately sold. I was like, I unfortunately really have to get into this IndyCar thing. But so that's kind of how I found out about IndyCar. If you had to pitch IndyCar to maybe more so people who already watch motorsport, I feel like that'd be easy to convert. How would you pitch without, like, giving them, you know, like, all the terminology they need? Like, what would you tell them to get them into it?
I think my absolute favorite thing about IndyCar is that it is, in my opinion, maybe outside of IMSA, the most personable experience you can have in motorsport. Like, and it's also very honest. Like, even when Penske cheated, like, Joseph did do that half-ass press conference where he was like, I didn't know I was gonna get caught. You know what I mean?
And honestly, so real. I mean, he probably thought, like, we own this series. I thought we could get away with it. Sorry.
I just think that's really beautiful. And, like, you can just, they're very approachable too, like, especially if you really want to know more about, like, even just how motorsports works. Like, it's such a good series because, unlike F1, like, if you ask, like, someone a question, you might actually get an answer, especially if it's, like, an email thing or, you know, like a cold email. And I think that that's really nice. And it's also, like, I find the racing and the racing strategies a lot more interesting than Formula One. And partially that is because I really, really, really like ovals. And those are my favorite races to go to. I prefer, I almost just said rovals, that too, but famously.
Sorry?
Whoa.
Do you want to go to the Roval?
Should we go to the Roval?
Please, come go to the Roval.
Girl, you are welcome.
Yeah,
to come
we're
to
going
the
to the
Roval with
Roval.
us. Do you want to come to the Roval with us?
Do you want to go to the Roval with y'all?
Girl, get in. Okay, we're all going to the Roval.
We're just decided. Yeah, but I really love them, and like the cars, like the Indy cars just go so fast on them, and
Mhm.
that's what makes the ovals so exciting. Like they make me ill, like just to be clear, like they make me feel so sick. Like I'm literally watching and I'm like, oh, don't throw up because I get like so anxious watching it, but that's what makes it so good. Like
Mm.
I don't like there's something about it. Like it's really fast, it's really charismatic, it's a really charming series. And the people, for the most part, in it are good as well. And I think that's how I would pitch it.
I feel like one of the like things that made your content so unique to me as a viewer is that you are a crafty girl, okay? I feel like, okay, this isn't like really crafty, I guess, but like to me it is because I have no like skill to come up with stuff like this. You started the butt cushion revolution for me. The like, you could just have drivers sign butt cushions. I'm like, I've never even thought of this. And then the pictures that are behind you, I saw like your whole series of you making that. I think I've seen you make your own like McLaren merch-ish type stuff to wear to races. I think you are actually crafty in all of the senses. I've never met a craft Marlee can't do, but you kind of sell stuff on your Etsy store now?
I do. I've had one sale. I'm not trying to brag. I had one sale. It was a tank top, and like the worst thing that I learned from that was that Etsy does not actually tell you when someone makes a sale. And so I had no idea. And
So that feels like
Mhm.
something
They
It feels
should
like
do.
something. No, and like when I was messaging the girl that bought it, and I was like, I am so sorry. Like I'm sure you can see that you are my first
I'm new
sale.
here. I'm new here.
But they didn't tell me, and so like now I've been checking it like every other day just to be sure because I think I saw it like a week after she had ordered it. And thankfully, it had been like in between the two Big Ten tournaments. And so, like, I had like that few stretch of days where I was like, I have got to embroider. And I literally
She's
sat there and I embroidered a tank top for like 8 hours in a row. And I just sat there and just like did it. And then I sent it to her the next day and she left me a 5-star review and she sent me a message and she was like, you literally did not have to go out of your way to make this like immediately for me, despite the fact that I waited a week and was so nice. And I like was sobbing and like I didn't even think like I thought that it looked like it looked like the McLaren logo, but I was like, maybe it's like a little bit too like chonky on like the ends. And I was like, she's gonna hate it. And I told her she could send it back and I would pay for everything and like I would redo it. And she was like, you do not have to do that. She was like, it
Okay.
literally is perfect.
Marlee.
And
Marlee, I think your business strategies make me really nervous.
I just felt
Just send it back if you think it's too chunky. I can make it thinner. I'm
I was
sorry.
like, I can fix it. And like, because I sent her an image and I was like, but if it looks different in person, I was like, just let me know. And like, I kept, like, I just felt so bad because she had asked for express shipping. It's like an option where you can get it. Like, usually my turnaround is like 5 to 7 days, but you can have like an express turnaround for more money for like a 1 to 3 days. And she had paid for that. And I didn't see it until a week later. And I was like, I'm the worst person alive. And she literally she like sent a message and she was like, babe, like I would have just canceled the order like if you had been taking too long, like it's literally fine. And
Aw.
I just felt so bad.
Maybe I think that this customer was like sent by like a therapist or something to be like, we're gonna work on things with Marlee. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna make her know that it's all okay and that Etsy marketplace is not like cutthroat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like I want to up my craft game personally. My next craft on the books is that I want to bead embroider me and MJ NASCAR logo shirts to wear because the NASCAR logo is like kind of rainbow-esque and I thought that would be cute. And we could like wear it as our favorite drivers change, you know what I mean? Like they do weekly maybe. What's your next craft on the books? What's up next for Marlee?
I don't know, but I do have to say that you are amazing at bead embroidering and you need to value your crafting more because you are really, really, really good at it.
It's
and like
the only craft I can do. I'm
and
just
you're
like, hey,
phenomenal at it.
I'm gonna fuck up
It's
this
good.
bead embroidery, but
Honestly,
I can't do anything else.
And like I think that I disagree because I know that if you can do that, I know you can embroider more and like I know
Oh my god.
like I know that you can craft some
Were
serious
you
shit.
sent by a therapist to say
I think
this
that
to
might
me?
have been.
This is what I needed to hear.
I think for my next craft though, I really I kind of was toying with the idea of maybe doing something for the road course. I just don't know what I want to do yet, and I don't want to do another hat because I do make hats for other people. I did do this one yesterday. I did do this one for my friend, and I was really happy with this one. I thought it turned out really cute.
Oh, it's
so.
Wait, was it just a plain white one, or is the Ferrari logo
Yeah. It's it's probably like quite blurry, but yeah, I basically used my laptop as a light box and taped a piece of like white copy paper to the screen and traced the logos, and then this is his logo number like on his one of his old
That
hats.
looks amazing.
And then I just like did it over because my friend wanted a hat for Miami.
Are we gonna have another butt cushion anytime soon, or do you think the one IndyCar butt cushion is enough?
And I do have to say something. I'm not the one who started it. It was my dad.
Who did? What?
It was Patrick, not me.
Patrick.
It was freaking Patrick. Yeah. Because I begged for a butt cushion on account of my bony
Your butt hurt.
butt. I was like, I need to be sat on something when we're up there. And then we got a butt cushion, and I went through the line. It was like Gracie and I on one side and Celine and Lexi on the other. This was in Gateway. This was my first race, which I wore my St. Louis Gateway. I didn't buy merch there, but I did buy
Girl, she was there in St. Louis.
So but we were like in separate lines, and originally it looked like Celine and Lexi's line was like so much shorter. And so we told them, we were like, you can be a dirty double dipper and like come get in our line with us. But we actually got through first, and my dad had the butt cushion, and he was like, I'm not carrying around cards all day. Joke's on him. He was the one with the backpack. He carried my cards around all day. But he had the butt cushion. And so he was like, I'm just going to ask all of them to sign the butt cushion. And I literally felt a light bulb go off in my head. I was like, that is brilliant.
Yeah.
And we were also the dirty double dippers. We did finish the line first, and so we went through, and that's how it got signed by everyone. Don't arrest me.
So we went, for those that are newer here who haven't watched our Daytona 24-hour vlog, you're lost, guys, but it is on YouTube. I went with Marlee, and she goes, okay, like, I'm going to do another butt cushion. And I'm like, no, that's so true, girl. Like, she's going to do another butt cushion. You got the special Sharpies so that the butt cushion signatures could really pop. And I feel like drivers were like, they were hats off into your creativity. I feel like they don't get asked to sign enough butt cushions. So I think you and Patrick started a movement. And if you guys really want to make an impression on drivers, just be like, hey, my ass is going to be here later, but for now, can I get your signature?
It's like the funniest comment I got, and I can't remember who it was. Someone was like, you made this? And I was like, girl, no. Girl, no. No.
Wow.
Adorable.
Just for me to sign?
And they looked like, I felt so bad saying no. Like they were like, it was so like me handing it to them. This is tapping the person next to them. This is so good. This is so amazing. Did you make this?
Crazy.
And I was like, that is a butt cushion.
Hey.
A machine made that.
Yeah. I don't think any human could make this. You know what I mean? Mm-mm. It's just, it's really one of those things you gotta do it in a factory.
It was awesome.
But maybe new crafting opportunity. You could homemade some butt cushions.
Make
like
your
hand
own
stuff
butt
them.
cushion.
Honestly, that's a good idea, especially if we go to the road course, because I can be like, well, I can't ask you to sign another IndyCar butt cushion.
Yeah.
It's gotta be
a different one. Yeah, it's homemade.
This one's homemade, so, yeah.
Think on it, you know what I mean? Keep that in the noggin. I want to talk about your series that you decided to do while we were at the Daytona, which was like an hour by hour checkup for all 24 hours. And some of the like random ass videos that would just blow up. And you would have like randos in your comments who just like did not get the vibe. And they were like, hey losers, you know, you can sleep inside, right? And MJ's like, not MJ, Marlee, you were like, funny you bring it up. I don't have a home tonight.
podcast having to be like, well, I'm so sorry that I got scammed out of a hotel. Like,
So if you guys want to know the full hotel scam story, you can check out the vlog. But what would you, do you think that that's something you would ever do again? Like a full series? Like that was such a spur of the moment. You were like, fuck it, I'm going to do an hour by hour check-in. And it ended up being like one of your like best performing series. The people were loving it. They're like,
great.
this crazy lady sleeping in the stands. I think I remember you filmed like when we got the breakfast burrito and you're like, hey, what's up guys? Life's looking pretty good now. Just an hour by hour updates of like, I think we're gonna die out here.
crazy is that I remembered the 24 hours of Le Mans and I was like, how do I get there to recreate this exact
Yeah, you were
thing?
down for another. That's actually like, we always talk about like manifesting. And like I sometimes manifest for people and then we'll ask you what you want to manifest for yourself. But I'm going to manifest for you that you get a paid partnership to go to Le Mans and do an hour by hour update at Le Mans. I would love to see that content. Le Mans, if you're listening, please hire Marlee.
Le Mans.
Please.
Please.
Mr. Le Mans, please hire Marlee.
Oh.
And so what would you like to manifest for yourself?
Honestly, first of all, thank you for manifesting for me. I really appreciate that. I'm going to add that
It worked, by the way. NASCAR John, he got to do a prayer at a race.
did
and
work.
I manifested
This
for
is-
that.
Your
I
one
did
wish.
see that.
I think his
Okay.
wife arranged it for his birthday, but I wanted to take credit. Love you, Vanessa.
Yeah,
Anyways,
but you manifested it and she heard that and it spoke to her. So then she helped that manifestation come true.
yeah. So what are you manifesting?
I think I like what you've manifested for me, so I'm just gonna add to that manifestation and say that it's something that like all of us get to do, or like I would love something where all of us get to go together and like kind of just dick around together. Honestly, like I really think that's when, at least I can, like, I'll speak for myself, my content is at its prime when I'm with my girls just kind of being silly. And that's really like what inspired the hour by hour is like, I think I come up with it before because my broadcast professor had wanted me to like do something. And I was like, I really want to do hour by hour updates. And then it was funny, like in hindsight, is like, I was like, but we're going to sleep so it won't be every hour, but I'll do as close as possible. And that didn't end up happening.
Not a wink of sleep.
But it was like, I remember thinking like, it's going to get funnier and funnier because the girls are going to get delirious and more delirious. And so I was like, this is like my ideal, like, it's something I would love to watch. Like, I love watching like other people do something like that. So I was like, I feel like when we get to that silly stage where all of us are kind of just like having fun, I love that. And so like, I couldn't go to like Le Mans and try to do the hour by hour update by myself. Like I would need like y'all there with me because I would need like a team. My friends, really.
You heard the girl, Mr. Le Mans. I think you're gonna have to send all of us.
Please, Mr. Le Mans.
Please.
Please.
But I do think that it is funny because like I feel like the reason why us three plus like Podium Pop and some of the other people that we've met, like we really gravitate towards each other because I think we all have like the same idea when we make our content, which is like, what if this was just fun? You know what I mean? Like some people make like aspirational content. Some people make inspirational content. Some people make like, you know, the fashion girlies and like they have their take on it. We're not like trying any of that because we're just like, what if it was goofy? You know what I mean? And that's why, like, when I first met you in person, I was like, oh, this is just the goofiest darn girl in the whole world. She's here with her Bucky's blanket against the world.
It's funny because I first of all, have the Bucky's blanket right here.
Beautiful. She kept me alive in the toughest of times.
Truly a God sent blanket right here. But I feel like I remember us having this conversation in Vegas and it was like a real bonding moment of us and the Podium Pop girls where we were all just like, I wish people had more fun. Like I wish people in the motorsports community didn't take things as seriously. Like some things seem to be taken seriously, but I wish just like in general, like I wish we were all just having more fun. And all of us were like, I wish we were having more fun too.
Should we have bucket loads of fun? Probably. Should we have like, lots of silly, goofy fun? Well, okay. I'm glad you put your manifestation out in the world and I hope it comes true. This is a request from MJ in a way. she's always like, what if we had more motorsport musical theater crossover? And I mean, I don't know if you want to brag on your credentials, but you have real credentials in the theater space, okay? She's got a degree, girlies.
I do.
What's your degree in? Come on,
my degree's in acting and dancing.
Okay. So
got a degree in acting and a degree in dancing because I thought that might be worth something one day.
Hey, girl.
And it is. It's about to be right now.
Yeah, we're about to cash in.
You're so right.
So we're gonna give you a musical, and we want you to give us one, maybe two, if you feel spoken to, people that would star in this musical from the motorsports world. We want serious, clocked in answers. Okay, we're coming to you as like our theater consultant. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, this isn't laughing matter. Okay.
That's
This
serious.
is serious.
Yeah,
I'm
this is
really serious.
Anyways, our first one is Wicked. So you'll need 2 stars for this.
I was so hoping you would say Wicked because I already had it prepared, and it is going to be Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg.
And which is which?
Wow.
In my eyes, I think that Lewis is Glinda because he still does Formula One. He kind of still is like, he's that guy. He like, and my version of things, he will live and be and die as that guy. Like, he's that dude.
Yeah.
Nico retired.
Defied gravity.
He defied gravity and then he left.
He said, I think I'm going to exit from this situation.
Yeah, his
And
wife
that
is
is so
Fiero, and they just sort of left the scene. So I think that's who I would pick.
That
Yeah,
was really beautiful, actually.
I like that.
I fear I've been thinking on that one. Like, I had that a little bit too quickly.
Yeah, no,
I
that's
mean,
really
like,
good.
Yeah, that's good. Do you want to settle something really quick for me? Just like a little side note. Between me and MJ, who would you say is Alphaba and Glinda? The public has spoken, but I think the public has spoken wrong. So I just wanted like a consultant's opinion.
And it's funny you should say that because it's literally even just in the way that you just said wrong. Like, you're Glinda, and I'm sorry, and I hate to have to be the one to say it, and like I didn't ever want to have to say because I was on the live.
No, she's right. She has a degree.
Yeah,
when
you're one of the
first
OGs.
were talking about it. I was on that live, and I remember sitting on my dad's couch and thinking, she doesn't even know. She doesn't even get it.
She literally is a Glinda. Yeah,
I was like, she doesn't even know she's literally a princess. Like, she's literally Glinda.
Okay, well, if you say that I'm a princess, then fine. I'm warming up to it. Jeez. Okay, our next one is Hamilton, and maybe we could have like you could choose just to cast Hamilton, or you could do like a Hamilton and Burr situation. I'm honestly leaving it
or
up
the
to you,
Schuyler sisters, whatever you're thinking.
Yeah, whatever speaks to you, like just like any sort of casting.
Okay. I'm trying to think of. Okay, so Hamilton, and this will make sense once I say it all. Hamilton is going to be Andrea Stella.
Right.
Okay.
So that wasn't what I was expecting, but I love it.
I wasn't either.
Reynolds is Oscar.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Speak on it.
Go ahead.
I guess. And then Eliza is Alpine. And so
Okay.
Wow.
Are you seeing my vision?
I get it.
That's I was so concerned when we started with Andrea Stella, but like it really developed.
No, she knew, and we should have trusted her. She told us. She said, "Listen," and we.
Well, I'm so sorry. Alpine is John Reynolds, the husband. My apologies.
Right.
Because
Okay.
Andrea Stella schmoozed
Right.
Oscar
Right.
away from
So Andrea Stella's in a red dress with red lipstick, giving
No, Oscar.
No.
Oh,
No,
Oscar's
Oscar.
Andrea
in red
Stella
lipstick
is-
and a red.
And
Yeah,
Andrea
Hamilton.
Stella's picking him up from Alpine.
Wow, that's crazy. Crazy image in my head. Who are you casting in Les Mis? And again,
That
it's an
is
ensemble
such a good
cast. You
question.
don't feel like you have to do, but like if there's just like one where you're like, this speaks to me, this person should clearly be this character, or two, you know?
I do, and I'm gonna butcher his name, I'm sure. Sorry to the French. What's
I'm not
MJ?
worried about
Is it Gavra? What's the little boy's name? Gavra?
I haven't seen Les Mis.
Gavroche?
Yeah.
Yes. That is Logan Sargent.
Oh.
He fought for his people.
By his people, do you mean
the United States and Floridians and Formula One. And it didn't work out so well. And it didn't work out so well for little Gavroche. Do you want to know something? This is actually so humiliating, but I'll say it anyway. When I saw Les Mis in the theater, I cried so hard. I picked my little self up and I ran out of the theater crying so hard at that scene that I threw up. I threw up.
Wait, that's end of the movie. So that means like mid-movie, you ran outside, threw up. Did you come back in?
Absolutely.
Well, sure.
Absolutely. And yeah, I don't think my friends ever really looked at me the same. But it's fine.
Oh my god.
And I've never changed.
Okay, last question. Me and MJ jokingly, I'm gonna put a big emphasis. Okay, maybe not as jokingly as we would like it to be. We sometimes refer to people as our sons. Okay,
drivers,
so like famous,
not just people.
Drivers, right? So like famously, you know, like Connor Zilic,
Scott Dixon,
son, Isaac Hadjar, son, Kimi Antonelli, son. But like son has no bounds and son has no age, and anybody can be son. Do you feel like a driver might be son for you?
I really truly think, and I don't know if it's just because he's looking at me right now, for me that might be Colton Herta. Like that's my boy. He is my son. Mm-hmm. I feel maternal. When I see him smile, I'm like, I'm just so happy for you. Like that's my sweet boy. I do also feel that way about Isaac Hadjar. I do really feel that way.
Yeah, that's son.
It's just his boyish charm. Like, I'm like, that is, it does make your maternal instincts go like, oh, baby. Oh, he's a baby.
If you guys are at home and you're wondering, like, how would I know if a driver is son? You bring up the best test. If you see your driver do something good, or you see somebody crash into your driver, and your first instinct is to go, my boy!
They've like massacred my boy.
Yeah. If you're feeling very Goblet of Fire-esque about being like, my boy, my son, that's your son. Congratulations. You're expecting.
You're a mother.
That's your son.
Congrats. Aww,
Congrats.
I'm a mother.
Yeah, so Colton Herta and Isaac Hadjar. Well, we must share custody then with Isaac. Much like me and MJ, we share custody with Connor.
Yeah, I would love to share custody. Mm-hmm. That's my dream situation, because sometimes, you know, like, it gets to be too much. You're like, I gotta pass you off to the other parent. Yeah.
It takes a village.
It does,
to raise these kids. You know what I mean? So I think that is all that we had for our questions, just as the sun has officially gone down on Marlee's set.
I know. I feel really bad. I'm like, I should maybe make an effort to find that light.
If you have a problem with it, you can just listen to the audio version. Now what?
That's so true.
No. Yeah. So if you guys are new here, be sure to leave us 5 stars, because this is just 5-star content right here. Subscribe on YouTube, and be sure to check out Marlee. I'm going to ask Marlee to send me her Etsy shop. So maybe check out her Etsy store if you feel like you want something from the Crafty Queen. But be sure to check out her socials, which will also be linked in the description on YouTube and in the show notes on Apple or Spotify or wherever you're listening to us from. And do you have anything you would like to say? Parting thoughts?
Yeah, I was going to say, if there's a craft that's not on my Etsy, honestly, it's probably easier to just DM me anyway, because as it turns out, Etsy doesn't tell me if someone buys something.
Right. But girl, you better recheck in, because the orders are going to be flying in. Yep.
I hope so. Thank you guys for having me. I just love talking to y'all, and I love y'all's podcast so much. I listen to it. I put it on my phone while I'm getting ready for class every week, and it's like, or twice if there's a lap traffic episode, and it's like my favorite. It's my favorite day to get ready. So I love listening, and I watch y'all too, so I can see your pretty little faces, and it's so nice.
I think we're gonna have to cut the cameras.
I'm about to cry, like when that dog gave birth in Alpha.
Can't wait for that to make no sense to the listener. Also, if you're a listener, I'm really sorry. This is going to be a highly edited podcast. Maybe someday we'll have you on again, unfiltered, for like, you know, the real fans. They can get the full access. But
that would be crazy.
You guys missed some crazy shit. So yeah, I guess with that, I guess we can all say bye. Does everyone want to say bye? Bye.
Bye.